What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Maze at HEAD back with you for another video. A very special day. A very special video, in fact. It is a Sunday. Quick apology for... I scheduled this for 2 o'clock earlier on in the day. This is 2 o'clock UK time. But I know I kept on changing and changing because I was watching the actual show and I didn't want to be late for you guys. I didn't want to be late, doing this show. So, I don't like to be late for many things. And I arranged to do this show and I wanted to do it on time. So I kept on changing it. I apologize for that. But there was a couple of hours delay and everything. But here, I'm here. This is what it's here now. October 3rd, the MSG show I'm here to review. I actually saw it today. That's what took me so long to do this video. And, it was a pretty good show. Pretty good show. Was it better than the Japan show? Probably not. But it was good. I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. I have a couple of criticisms about it, though. One major in particular, but I'll get to that later. Guys, whoever's watching this right now, whether you're watching this now, live, or you're watching it when it goes up on YouTube, please get involved, okay? Leave your comments underneath in the YouTube box, the YouTube comment box underneath, and let me know what you thought of the WWE MSG show. Was it good? Could it have been better? What stole the show? Was it the US title match? Was it Brock Lesnar beating the living daylights out of Big Show? What was it? Comment underneath in YouTube. And by the way, guys, if you don't see this now, check out facebook.com/WM podcast because this will be going up on there as well when it's all said and done. Now, kicked off, MSG show, beautiful, a good show nonetheless, and I've got some of the matches up on here. Kicked off with Dolph Ziggler and Randy Orton tag teaming against Sheamus and Rusev. Now, this must have been done at the last minute because I checked on NoDQ.com and they had the list of the final card. Apologies for that. They had the list of the final card and it had Rusev versus Ziggler and Sheamus versus Orton. They must have went, we'll put this together, make it a tag match. And that's what they did. Now, it was mainly a dominated match, mainly by Sheamus and Rusev, in my opinion. Yes, Ziggler got involved. They isolated Ziggler for most of the match, and it was mainly controlled by them for most of the match. And then Randy Orton came in, kicked butt, and got rid of Rusev, and then Sheamus takes a super kick and then gets an RKO and gets the loss for the team. An average way to start for me because this Rusev and Ziggler feud is gone on now. It's looking to end, in my opinion. It's looking to end because now the Lana's out injured and everything. They've obviously dropped the storyline between Ziggler and Lana, so there's no direction where this is going. And this whole thing with Ziggler and Lana is making a fool out of it. Ziggler and Summer Rae is making a fool out of Ziggler, to be honest with you. It makes no sense whatsoever. And if that's a way of trying to save the storyline, it's a bad way. And don't get me wrong, these two have great matches, Randy Orton and Sheamus, but quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of seeing them fight. Next time I want to see them fight, put the Money in the Bank contract on the line. And plus, Randy Orton, is hunting down Bray Wyatt. And I'll get to Bray Wyatt later on in the show. Now, the next match was a match that, quite frankly, should have been on pay-per-view. I would have put this on pay-per-view. Probably Hell in a Cell. Stardust versus Neville. We knew there was going to be a one-on-one match eventually between these two, considering what was going down with Neville, Cosmic Wasteland, as they're now known, and Stardust and Ascension, and Neville and the Lucha Dragons. But mainly, we focused this feud on Neville and Stardust, and these two had a one-on-one match. It was okay for me, but it could have been better. Quickness was with Neville, no doubt, and the story of the match ended with, Stardust playing around with, the cape that Neville comes out to, and he backfired him because he turned around, got super kicked, and then Neville hits the red arrow. How is this feud going to end? I mean, in my opinion, they should just scrap the Stardust gimmick and bring back Cody Rhodes. Don't get me wrong, Stardust has had its fun, it's had its run. It's been great in that. But they need to bring back Cody Rhodes back. They need to bring him back now, in my opinion. And the only way is up for Neville. I really don't know what they could do with him, to be honest. I mean, I've heard a lot of rumors that they're trying to build him him as the Rey Mysterio. If that's the case, WWE, then you're idiots. Because he's a big time player on his own. He doesn't need a Rey Mysterio thing. And he's far better than Rey Mysterio, if you ask me. What the future holds for this feud, hopefully it's ended, but I think they need to end it on a better term than that match at MSG. It was good, a good match. A match you would expect it out of the two, but it could have been better. I think it needs to be on pay-per-view, not on the pre-show, not on the pre-show thing that they do. Put it on pay-per-view and end it there. But Neville needs to move on. And quite frankly, Stardust needs to die. And Cody Rhodes needs to come back. That's just my opinion on that. Anyway, moving on. Team Bella versus PCB. Team PCB. Yes. I have one critique about this match. I know they're trying to build up for a triple threat match at Hell in a Cell between Charlotte, Paige, and Nikki Bella, because Nikki Bella's got a rematch. But why are they putting Team PCB together? Well, there's dissension. I'm glad they did what they did in the match. I'll get to that in a second. But this whole feud, I mean, Team PCB is over. It's done. Paige is jealous because Charlotte is the champion and she wanted to be that leader of the group as the champion. But they gave it to Charlotte instead, which was quite rightly so. No offense to Paige. But Charlotte's had that belt, had the title reign coming. What I don't understand is why they keep putting these, putting PCB together when there's clearly dissension. But I'm glad they did what they did. This was dominated mostly by Team Bella, this match. It was a standard six-man tag. The story of it came at the end when Charlotte and Becky Lynch gave Paige a little taste of her own medicine. She came in, she wanted the spotlight to herself. She kept on tagging in at inappropriate times. And then when she went to tag Charlotte and Becky Lynch, they stepped back and let her have the spotlight to herself. And then Nikki, what did I get that from? Nikki hits is it Rack Attack? That's the one. And gets the victory for Team Bella. Now, please just end it. No more Team PCB. If you're going to keep putting Team PCB as a tag team, why did you have Paige turn heel? It makes no sense. But I'm glad that happened because, quite frankly, Paige asked for that. And then she has a whinge at the match, at the beginning of the match, at the end of the match, rather, saying that she wouldn't have done that to her mates and calls them best friends. We all know everybody was just a heel promo, which was full of you-know-what. One more thing I forgot to mention as well in the Sheamus-Rusev tag match. Rusev blamed Sheamus for losing and basically punked him out. Asked him to leave, and then calls out Lana, turns around and gets a bro kick in the face. I know Sheamus looks stupid, but Rusev, you don't punk out Sheamus. He's an Irish badass. Don't punk him out. That just proves how stupid Rusev's become. And Summer Rae looked there shocked like that. Really? What Rusev gets for opening his mouth. Anywho, moving swiftly on. Now, the next match was Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. This was actually a pretty good match, but it was predictable. And predictable for the outcome. Yes, they went at it. Both men went at it, and both men competed. It was actually a great match between the two. But we all knew that Kevin Owens was going to walk out of the match with the Intercontinental Championship and retain. Nothing special in the way of Jericho coming back and becoming a 10-time Intercontinental Champion. We all knew Kevin Owens was going to be and retain the Intercontinental Championship. It made no sense. And it would have made no sense if Jericho had won. But Kevin got the victory, and it was a great match. I mean, Jericho, as always, brings his A game, no matter what. And he brought his A game. Probably surprised Kevin Owens to a degree. And Kevin Owens gets the thumb in the eye, countering the Walls of Jericho attempt, and gets the small package for the win. Great counters in the match. But we all know the reason, we all know we're only going to see Chris Jericho on these live events because Jericho, despite the fact he made that one appearance at Night of Champions to help out Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, which made no sense. It probably should have been Randy. They'd be best off putting Randy Orton in there, to be honest. But we're only going to see Jericho. He's made it very clear he's only going to do the live events of them. Will he come back to TV? I don't know. But it was a predictable ending to the match. It was a great match, but it was predictable. We all knew Kevin Owens was going to walk out. It was very highly unlikely that WWE would have allowed Chris Jericho to be the 10-time Intercontinental Champion when he's only doing live events and doing major events and not being on WWE TV like a Raw or SmackDown. It would have made no sense. He would probably have had to defend it. If he became a 10-time Intercontinental Champion, he would have had to defend it at least once a month. But all in all, it was a great match between the two, and I wouldn't mind seeing another match between Owens and Jericho again. Now for the tag team titles between Dudleys and New Day. Where do I begin with this? I've made it very clear I don't like the New Day. I can't stand the New Day. They're a great team, yada, 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 yada. But WWE made a mistake. They should have put the belts on the Dudleys here and now. But another DQ win for the Dudleys. So nice to get 2 DQ wins. And then the third time, they'll probably end up winning the tag belts, which will probably be Hell in the Cell. Hell in the Cell, they'll probably win the tag belts. Other than that, they're going to end up in a triple threat match with PTP because Primetime Players made it clear they want a shot at the tag belts as well. I just don't get it, to be honest with you. And the only saving grace of that match for me, it was a good tag match. Woods got involved, and he got involved to cause the DQ and everything. But the only saving grace for me was watching Xavier Woods go through a table again. That was mid. He deserved that big time. I don't like the New Day, and in my opinion, WWE are just can I say this? Prolonging the inevitable. It's not easy to say because sooner or later, Dudleys are going to be 10-time World Tag Team Champions in WWE. They're going to get their 10-time Tag Team title run, and it's probably going to be at Hell in the Cell. Right now, I'm making that clear right now on this video. The Dudleys are going to beat New Day. Third time will be the charm. I don't know why they've done this. The DQ win makes no sense. But WWE, in my opinion, made a mistake. They should have put the belts on them in the garden. That's my opinion. I would have put the belts on them in the garden and have them win them back if that's the case. But a DQ win, it's just a basic carbon copy of Night of Champions, basically, and it just didn't work for me. But a great match, a good match nonetheless. Not a great match, a good match, and just a poor ending for me. And in my opinion, the Dudleys should have won the tag belts. There. That's just my opinion. You can agree, disagree all you want. And I'm not a big fan of New Day. I'm done sucking up to people saying that New Day are this, this, and this. I'm not a big fan of the group. I'm a big fan of the talent. I like Kofi. I got no problem with Big E. Woods, don't get me started on him. But as the group, as a collective group, I don't get it. And I really, really don't get it. Anywho, moving on, it is now time for Brock Lesnar, the headline. Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. And Big Show kicked it off and did a good job. Hit him with 3 choke slams. He hit 2 choke slams. Brock Lesnar bounced back up, hit another choke slam, got the cover, got a near fall. And then it was just all Brock from there on in. 4 suplexes, 1 F5. Brock gets the victory. Basically, Brock Lesnar beat the 500-pound, 450-pound, 7-foot giant. He destroyed him. Absolutely destroyed him. And he wasn't done. He came back, hit an overhead belly-to-belly suplex, and hit another F5 for good measure. Big Show went to Suplex City. Absolutely went to Suplex City. Unbelievable. What I find funny, though, is they were building the match up. They were building the match, the Brock Lesnar, the video package and everything. No one mentioned the fact that the last time, not even the Big Show, the last time Brock Lesnar lost to Big Show in Madison Square Garden, correct? He lost the WWE title. It was at Survivor Series in 2002, but nobody failed to mention, or people failed to mention, that it was because of Paul Heyman that Big Show won that belt. Because that was when Paul Heyman turned on Big Show. I think that's another one for WWE, or what culture WWE. Things they want to forget. They want you to forget about Paul Heyman, or 10 things they want you to forget about the Big Show, or 10 things they want you to forget about Brock Lesnar. And that being one of them. That he lost the WWE title to the Big Show at Survivor Series in 2002, but nobody seems to remember that it was actually Paul Heyman that cost him the match and allowed Big Show to pin Brock Lesnar, which he did. He pinned Brock Lesnar, but it was all because of Paul Heyman. I mean, sorry. Am I unveiling the truth here that nobody that WWE don't want you to know? Am I, in the words of CM Punk, breaking the fourth wall, so to speak? I mean, sorry, am I the only one that remembers that? And it seems that WWE are trying to erase that and put Big Show over to a point where he beat Brock Lesnar, and he pinned Brock Lesnar in 2002, which, correct, he did, but it was because of Paul Heyman. Just my opinion. But the last day, Brock Lesnar absolutely destroys the Big Show, and just a typical Brock Lesnar match, because the last time he wrestled on a live event, he bounced Kofi Kingston around in Japan. So, there you go. And destroyed the New Day in the process. Now for the cage match, which saw Seth Rollins challenging again John Cena for the US title. Now, this match stole the show. This was an epic match, back and forth. Both men know each other so well, so even towards the end and everything. And just as Seth Rollins is about to go over the top, Kane's music hits, and here we go again with Kane getting involved. And Seth Rollins missing a frog splash from the top of the cage. Cena hits the AA and retains the belt. Jon Stewart was at ringside, never got involved this time. Thank God. But the whole thing ended with Kane attacking Seth Rollins again in the cage, tombstone, choke slam, just setting a statement. Seth Rollins versus Kane, Hell in a Cell. But the whole thing was good. The whole cage match was a good match. Lots of, stuff that I never expected Cena to do, quite frankly. A tornado DDT, standing on the top ropes, holding onto the cage. When have you ever seen that? Drop kick by Cena as well. You don't often see that from him. Cena gets put in the ring with wrestlers the caliber of Seth Rollins, and he gets the best brought out of him. He really does. And, anyone who could bring legitimacy back to a US title, it's John Cena. But, it was great stuff, man. It was a good match. Another good match between the two. Was it their best? I don't know on that one. But, this will probably end the matches now when there'll be no more John Cena versus Seth Rollins match, because steel cages are usually designed to end the feud. And this is obviously ended now, so. But one feud ends, another one begins, in a way. Kane and Seth Rollins. And this whole Joseph Park thing that Kane's going through is ridiculous, quite frankly. But above all else, it was a great match, and in my opinion, it stole the show. Great show. WWE, I call it a pay-per-view because I still think it's a pay-per-view, It's not a great live event, great show. Was it better than Japan? My opinion, it wasn't. But it was a great show nonetheless, and I will give it a 4 out of 5. For me, in my terms, a solid 8 out of 10, if you're talking Sunday Segway terms, in my opinion. Now, I have a couple of critiques, if you will, about the show. One major in particular. I've already said my piece about the Dudleys and Team PCB, but this is the major one. I don't understand this. Right? You got the US Championship in a steel cage, which stole the show, in my opinion. Even though Brock Lesnar beating down the Big Show was fun to watch, that stole the show in terms of wrestling matches. What I don't understand is this. I didn't know that until that match was taking place until a week, maybe a couple of weeks after, because they announced it on NoDQ.com. I read it on NoDQ.com that the 3 matches that were announced were Cena versus Rollins, Lesnar versus Show, New Day versus Dudleys. But you promote the hell out of Brock Lesnar and Big Show leading into today. It's part of its Go to Hell tour, which ends at the end of the month with it continues on Raw this coming Monday as I'm recording this, but it also ends at Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker again. Round 3 in Hell in a Cell. What I don't understand is you promote the hell out of the show and it's based around Brock Lesnar. Why is John Cena in the main event with Seth Rollins? Again, the last show, it was Cena was in the main event. Brock Lesnar was not in the main event. I think he was the main event, but he wasn't the main event of the whole show. He was the main event of hour number 1 of the first half of the show. He should have been the main event of the whole show, even if it was just a beatdown of Kofi Kingston. The Beast in the Far East or the Beast in the East was based around Brock Lesnar. He should have been in the main event. MSG's show was based around Brock Lesnar against the Big Show. Why wasn't that match the main event? Why was it Cena and Rollins? I would have swapped them 2 around and put the Big Show and Brock Lesnar last and put the cage match before. I could probably understand to a degree why they did what they did because of the ending with Kane and everything. But still, you build a show around Brock Lesnar and he's not the main event. Makes no sense to me. Brock Lesnar should have been the main event. The Brock Lesnar Big Show match, in my opinion, should have been the main event of the show. That's just my opinion on that one. You know, it should have been the main event of the show. You built the MSG show around Brock Lesnar and he's not the main event. You build the Japan show around Brock Lesnar and he's not the main event. Doesn't make any sense. That's my only criticism of it. All in all, great show. Was it better than the Japan show? Well, that's for you to decide. Now, another match that was announced that I saw on there, managed to see SmackDown, is Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. I made it very clear that Roman Reigns this past week on Raw, the ending on Raw did not sit well with me, but I can understand it now. I can understand it now because, you know, of what went down. You know, Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt is now going on to October 25th inside Hell in a Cell. And it makes sense, quite frankly, because this feud has to end. And if they couldn't end it on Raw, where else can you end it? Hell in a Cell. So that's something to look forward to. Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt, Hell in a Cell. It's going to be a fight. And I can't wait to see it. So that's 2 Hell in a Cell matches that are not championships. Why not for titles? You got Brock Lesnar and Undertaker round 3, I guess. And Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. I got no problem with that whatsoever. Hell in a Cell should be very interesting. And that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe to the Wrestling Madness channel for more, because I'm going to be doing a lot more of these, and the only way you get to keep up with it is subscribing to the channel. That's all you can do. Hit that subscription button below. Now, I'll be Monday Night Raw, although I'm thinking of changing it. I'll probably change it until about, you know what? I'm doing it right now. I'm going to change it. I will be back at 3 o'clock UK time, which I believe is 12 o'clock in the US or whatever, for the Raw review. I will do it then. This coming Tuesday, I'll be back with the Raw review live or whenever, recording, whatever. But mainly I'll be doing it live because I've already scheduled it. It should be promoting right now. As you can, if you're on YouTube and everything, you should be able to see it promoted. Or being promoted this Tuesday. I'll schedule it for 3 o'clock UK time, which is 12 American time or East Coast time or whatever time it is. So be sure to check that out for the Raw review. Also, check out the Wrestling Madness podcast as well. The only way you get to see that, you can see that on this very channel, weekly podcasts and more wrestling content. The only way you get to see it on this channel, the Wrestling Madness channel, is by hitting that subscription button and showing your support, because it'll be greatly appreciated. And I will love you guys forever, because everybody has an opinion about professional wrestling. That's why I created this channel, to give you my opinions. Also, check out facebook.com/WM Podcast, at WM Podcast on Twitter. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch, and I'll see you soon. Peace.